What if I told you if you could get this one thing, just this one thing, all of your training would be exponentially better? Would you want it?
Training should be fun for you and your dog, but it can be especially frustrating if you have a dog that's not that into it. Yeah, I know you're into it. So, at a minimum, what you need to have is a dog who pays attention. You need a dog that's engaged.
What is engagement? Engagement is defined as A, the process of establishing a meaningful connection, and B, the process of participating or becoming involved. The first definition is the one that I think most people would run to, but for me, the part about being involved seems to stick out a little bit more. We are constantly asking our dogs to do things with us and for us. However, in order to have a real meaningful connection, it has to be voluntary. The dogs must choose to engage. We want our dogs to crave the opportunity to engage, to seek that opportunity whenever it's possible. I mean, why do you think you need engagement? I don't know who said it, but I've heard with an engaged dog, you not only have their eyes, but you also have their mind. Amongst distracting sights, smells, and sounds, the dog will still be hyper-focused on you. This is going to be helpful in high traffic areas. It could also be helpful when it comes to guests and over-arousal, and potentially for anybody that's thinking about any sort of dog competition. When you make engagement the foundation of your training, everything else is easy. Before we go into how to get it, if you think engagement can make your good dog gooder, then hit the like button and subscribe for more canine content. So you want to know how to get it. Here's where things get interesting. There's two main components to getting engagement. One, you need a proven motivator, something that the dog finds really rewarding, like food or a toy. Two, you need to convince your dog that they are solely responsible for producing that reward. Since we know that motivation is a prerequisite to engagement, then ask yourself, what motivates my dog? Is it affection? Is it toys? Is it food? You can use affection or toys and play, but food. Food is generally the best place to start. With food, you can do a ton of repetitions in a short time. You can manage the amount they consume and when they consume it. And you can literally use food to move them around. But David, my dog's not food motivated. That's bullshit, because all dogs eat. All dogs eat. Every single last dog I've ever met eats. Dogs have to eat, just like we have to eat. So if they have to eat and we control when they eat, then maybe when they want to eat, that's when we should want to train. Sometimes when I talk about engagement, I feel like I'm giving dating advice. But the reality is, you gotta be fun. Instead of feeding him out of a bowl, use your scheduled feeding times to build a desire for him to work with you and for you. Start with a little bit of movement to get the dog's attention. As the dog starts to pay more attention to your movement, that's when you mark and reward. I like teaching my verbal reward marker at the same time that I'm working on engagement. To better understand markers, check out our video on clicker training up here, and we'll also put a link in the description. And for the next step, buddy, you gotta do something to get something. So once I've got the dog's attention with the movement and rewards, it's time to turn the table. I generally prefer eye contact or frustration barking. That attention that they give with the eye contact or the frustration barking makes me move and produce the reward. You want to give your dog the authority to control their reward. If you see the value in bringing more engagement into your training, then like, subscribe, hit the bell, and follow us on Instagram at Blackwood K9. So this next part is the part that everybody hates. It's kind of like the troubleshooting. At some point in your training, your dog is going to blow you off. Your dog is going to say, F you, F me? Empowering your dog to push you is beautiful and powerful. Begging your dog for attention is not. So what happens when your dog isn't proactive? What happens when your dog wanders off in the middle of a session or decides to fixate on some spot on the ground that could be pee or could be a spilled drink? If it happens more than a couple of times, then you need to proverbially close the kitchen. Oh, you're not interested in me? F me. Then I'm just gonna take this reinforcer with me and we out, F you. Assuming you're using food to start your engagement training, you need to manage the time, place, and balance of those meals. 100%. We are not telling you to starve your dog. The dog should have the same opportunity at every mealtime to earn the balance of his food. However, it's up to the dog to decide how important that meal is. This sort of thing will encourage good work ethic. Do not feel guilty if your dog does not eat a whole meal. Dogs do not diet. If he was hungry, he would eat. So, if they check out a few times, meaning more than you deem appropriate, do not try to increase their food intake on the next meal. Don't give them extra chews or treats. Keep each meal set to your normal ration. With each effort in your session, however, you can decide if you want to give a handful, one piece, or a whole bowl. In addition to food, you may also want to manage your dog's time when starting this work. A dog only has so much energy in a day. If you do a 10-mile hike and let them run with the other dogs around the yard or at the dog park, don't do that. Your dog will probably be way less motivated and way less enthused about the whole thing. In the beginning, you'll probably have to restrict some of those outlets. So when your dog is out with you, they are full of energy and ready to have some fun. So how do you know that you have engagement? Real engagement. It's simple. Remember, a proactively engaged dog is pushing you to produce the reward. Getting engagement is unsurmountably important to good dog training. However, it's just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to having a well-trained dog. You actually need to have some technical skill to reap the full benefits of engagement. So if I were you, I would not ignore this video right here because it can supercharge your engagement and the rest of your training.